Superman and the fact that DC has not had a win for a while. Like, sure, we have other movies that are out there, like in Superman movies, Man of Steel, Justice League. A few of those were hits, and yeah, those movies were not all bad, but not great either. So it was time for a reset, regardless of how mad I was initially when they threw away Henry Cavill right after bringing him back in Black Adam. I was very peeved and very upset about it. But here we are today. It's a new year, new day, and James Gunn has taken the reins for DC, making this new Superman movie as the forefront of this new universe, the head of what is supposed to be many movies to come after it. Hopefully this is good, otherwise DC's not really gonna have a leg to stand on. So the new sneak peek for the Superman movie came out, and I have my thoughts about it. People have been either loving or hating it. I've kind of been stuck on the fence a little bit. I've been a little concerned. Then I saw the trailer, the teaser trailer that came out prior to this one, and I got my hopes up a little higher for what we can expect with this Superman movie. We've already seen the scene with Krypto in the previous trailer, and people love the dog. They're excited about Krypto because we really haven't seen a faithful adaptation of the character versus that Dwayne Johnson movie, the animated film that came out with Kevin Hart as well. It was all right, but we get a faithful looking Krypto. And I will remind those who don't remember that it has come out that James Gunn said that this version of Krypto, he's a bad dog. He's a good bad dog. This dog's not trained very well. And with that knowledge, going into this, when Krypto hears Superman's whistle, and again, this is supposed to be in the beginning of the movie, somewhere in the beginning of the movie, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, at what point does Superman get his butt whooped so early in the film, unless this is what happens and then we rewind to before it happens and all the events that take place before that moment. One of those situations, I'm wondering, what, it could be that, could not be, who knows. With that in mind, and this is something that people have actually gotten really upset about and not understanding, why would Krypto pounce on Superman knowing that he's hurt? He's a misbehaved dog. And also keep in mind, he's a super dog, right? So when you hear the whistle, he whistles for the Krypto to come by. He's racing in there, all excited. He's, oh my gosh, my owner is ready. He's calling me. He wants to play. Ready to play. And he pounces the frick out of Superman. And Superman, and we'll find out later in this sneak peek that he has broken bones, multiple contusions, messed up bladder, kidneys, what have you. He's been torn up. But with Superman in this very vulnerable state, I'm sure those pounces freaking hurt. And with all the injuries he's succumbed to, absolutely they would. And he's pouncing on him over and over again, probably breaking more bones, making the injuries he already has much worse than they already are. And at a point, we realizes that, oh, he's not playing back. Oh, let me hang back, figure out what's going on. He tilts his head, and Superman all the while is screaming in pain. And it's a weird tone because when we first saw the sneak peek trailer, it was under the tone like, oh my gosh, Superman just got wrecked. This is what could have happened to him, and then we see all the stuff that takes place after that. But people have looked at this as a comedic interaction, and they've laughed and they thought that this was kind of like the comedic tone or the James Gunn humor that people have been worried about being inserted into this type of film. I didn't consider it as humorous. I mean, sure, you can find humor in it, but it's the misunderstanding between owner and pet, where the pet thinks one thing while the owner is expecting another, and there's a miscommunication there. And also, I've also heard and read and found out that Krypto isn't technically Superman's dog. He's actually, so if you don't want to hear this may be a spoiler, and I mean, you either care or you don't, but I'm going to say it, so if you want to skip ahead, feel free to. 3, 2, 1. Krypto is actually Kara Zor-El's dog, Supergirl's dog. And Superman is watching the dog for her while she's off-world doing who knows what. Not a whole lot of details on that, but that's what I've heard, which would make a whole lot of sense that with Kara, maybe there have been more interactions where she actually is playful with the dog. She does, and the dog expects to be played with and taken out and being very energetic here and there. They probably have that relationship established. But when you dump this dog with Superman, who may not have the same behaviors as Kara does, there's going to be some miscommunication. Whether it's time to play or it's not time to play, but they don't know how to communicate that because they don't know each other like that. very well. And this is a lived-in universe, so maybe there has been some interactions where the dog is familiar with Superman and has seen him and been with him before, but not to stay and live with him. So I don't know. That's just a theory, so don't read too much into that. But that would make a whole lot of sense from what we're seeing here in this sneak peek. And so eventually, Krypto stops beating up on Superman. He takes him home. Krypto races off, takes Superman home to the Fortress of Solitude. And God, what an interesting take on the Fortress. There have been many iterations of the Fortress and how it came to be in the old Christopher Reeve Superman. But the way that it just erupts out of the ground, it's like it burrows itself in when Superman's not around, which would make sense because people who fly near the Arctic or travel there may wonder, where does Superman go to when they can't find it? Unless there is someone with Superman's DNA or Kryptonian DNA that can cause it to come up. And I just really like the creativity about the Fortress, just alone, just by the aesthetic, the mechanics of it is really interesting. So now we enter the Fortress after Krypto barks and the symbol lights up. Usually, and I'm getting the sense that it's based off of solar energy, that there's a lot of solar energy-based mechanics to the Fortress that are involved, with Superman, getting a whole lot of his energy from the sun, if not all of it. So they open up, they go in, and the bots come in, the robots. Now, I do recall these robots looking very similar to the All-Star Superman comics from that series, where they had to go fight Solaris in space. And that's, if y'all don't know, that's the one-off story where Superman basically gets Kryptonian cancer, where he's going to die because he absorbed too much solar radiation and it caused his cells to overheat or overreact, and he now has X amount of time to live, like about a year or so. But yeah, no, these robots come in, and there's also an interesting take with the robots where I think it's like robot number 4. They pick Kal-El up and he says thank you. Superman says thank you, and that even in those little moments, that gives you more of an indication of Superman in this movie, his character, who he is as a person, who he is as a superhero. The Superman we got with Henry Cavill, although I love Henry Cavill, and I always will. I love what he did with the character. I love his portrayal of the character in that universe, in that tone. Regardless, I have to say, I don't think we were given enough time with these characters to build up to the Superman that I think we're going to get at some point in time in the Snyderverse. Because apparently there was a whole plan with Darkseid, we got that. So there were a lot of seeds planted for future movies that potentially were to happen to build up these characters, in this case, Superman. And so I feel like there was a slow growth where, yes, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. I'm not sure if this is what I need to be doing. They don't accept me. Some do, some don't. How do I break even here? And I could see the seeds of that growth, that character arc being planted in those films, but we never got there. But I could see what they were trying to do, but we didn't get that. We didn't get that far, at least, with that actor, that character, that version of Superman. But with this already being a lived-in universe, we're not doing an origin story. Superman's been around for a few years or so, something like that. And already, based off just the one thank you to robot number 4, and his response to the robot to Superman saying, we're automatons just here to serve. We no need to thank us, as we would not appreciate it. And then right after that, the robot number 12, as number 4 puts it, she is new. A new creation, a new robot added to the team here. He looks at the robot, and she's, oh my gosh, you looked at me. Completely contradicting what number 4 just said, that we wouldn't appreciate it. And, this one clearly responds with glee, with happiness, that he even looked at her. So with that, it's okay. People have considered that also James Gunn comedy, or the comedy from Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're concerned about it being too silly, the movie Superman. And I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I think people, we have to be a little patient here. And I've had my moments where I've spoken too soon about something that hasn't even come out yet, or we didn't get all the information or whatever. Just my initial thoughts on something. And yeah, we can be pretty raw, and I encourage that. Be as raw as you want to be with something that you have opinions about. But at the end of the day, until I see it and I have the evidence in my hand of what to work with before coming to my actual final conclusion, I have to be open-minded. So am I concerned, or have I been concerned? Yes, initially, yes. More information has come to light where I'm like, okay, things are looking better now. Things are looking more hopeful. And yeah, I had better hopes for this film, as more information came through. That's another thing. With the Superman marketing, not the best. I have to say, with James Gunn, so far, with the suit not being to my liking, it is what it is, whatever. Not only that, but the marketing. Now, there is such a thing as too much marketing, not enough marketing, and just bad marketing. Where Brave New World, for example, too much. It spoiled pretty much half, if not more so, of the film in the marketing, in the trailers, in the previews, in the commercials. It spoiled it. It ruined it. The reveal of certain things that happened in that movie just ruined it. And then there's not enough marketing where people don't know about it until, you know, it's in theaters. They're like, oh shoot, this is coming. I didn't even, who saw any trailers on this? No one knew about it. So there wasn't a whole lot of traffic drawn to it because there wasn't enough put out. And then with this, with Superman, bad. He's like putting out all of the worst shots for this film that I can think of. Like with the first photo, with that really cool movie camera, with the shot with him putting on his boots. That was not the best one. Not the best look of the suit, but I understand like you're not trying to show too much, but when if you show anything, make it good. Make it as good as it can be without giving too much, sure. But it was dark, he was weird, he was putting on his shoes, there was a thing outside, there was a lot of questions. And then with the trailer, I mean, the trailer gave us a little bit more. And I will say that wasn't, I wouldn't call that bad marketing, because I watched that trailer so many times. I even got teary-eyed sometimes because it's like, wow, there's a sense of hope in this movie versus what we've gotten before. It's a lot more enhanced. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of hope for this film now. But at the same time, not a whole lot of information was given to me, so I have nothing to go off of. There's so much happening in here, which gives me PTSD of Justice League. No, sorry, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, right? Where it felt like they were trying to do too much in that film. They wanted to make it a Batman movie, a Wonder Woman movie, a Superman movie, of course, and then a pre-Justice League movie. And there was just a lot happening. Oh, yeah, Superman Doomsday. Doom, was that it? Death of Superman. They were trying to do a lot of things in that one film, and that kind of messed it up. Whereas we see this Superman, where there's Superman, there's Hawkgirl, there's Green Lantern, there's Metamorpho, there's Mr. Terrific, there's Lex Luthor, there's Ultraman, or the mysterious guy in the black suit that's supposed to be maybe a clone of Superman. There's a lot happening here, but it is a lived-in universe, so you can expect that. In comics, superheroes or other villains make an appearance in one issue. It happens, so it makes sense in that sense, but there's a right way of doing it and there's a wrong way of doing it. And it's been done right before with the Avengers, where it had a ton of characters in it, and those worked with Infinity War and Endgame, especially Civil War even. With this, because it hasn't been done before, it's the first of its kind, it's the first of this new DC universe, we're worried, right? So you get a sense of Superman's character, his personality in this interaction here, in this very short, minute, blink and you miss it interaction. So I love that. And then as he gets taken to the tanning bed to rejuvenate, to recover, to heal, I love how the Fortress of Solitude rotates and shifts so it can get better sunlight. And they say crank it up to 292 times Saharan prime, which I assume is, you know, with the Sahara Desert being one of the hottest areas on the planet, magnify that crap to 292 because our boy needs to get recovered fast. And people wonder why, you know, Superman is given strength by the sunlight radiation, the yellow sun, and why is it hurting him? Why does it sound like it's sizzling, burning his skin? Why is he screaming? And yeah, my initial thought was like at the same time, I'm like, okay, yeah, why is he screaming? The sun's supposed to heal him, why is he? If you heard prior to them cranking up the heat with the sunlight, you heard all of his injuries, and I mentioned them before. We had like 14 broken bones, a punctured lung or bladder messed up. And Krypto probably added to that after pouncing on him. But imagine the thing that's supposed to heal you just on base level. Sure, it's gonna take time, but you'll heal slowly, and you probably hear a few grunts where things are getting snapped back into place or being mended. You crank that 200, 300 plus, that's gonna happen a lot quicker. So all 14 bones just getting snapped back into place. Obviously, this Superman can get hurt. He was found lying in a crater because he got hurt. It's not because he's a man of steel that he doesn't feel pain. No, he feels pain. So if anyone has a broken bone all of a sudden just getting snapped back into place multiple times while also torn ligaments and punctured lungs and other parts of your body, internal damage being repaired within seconds, that might feel a little uncomfortable. So yeah, I would be screaming too if that happened all within instants, you know? So people didn't understand that when they saw that, and they thought that it doesn't make sense. This is crap, this is stupid. No, if you look at it from a perspective where, put yourself in the situation, I mean, it speaks for itself. I didn't get so confused when I saw the sneak peek. I didn't get so upset like most people did when they saw this. I thought it was good. I thought it gave me a little bit more insight into what we can expect from the movie. And again, it's not a lot, but but it is more. And I think that with the bad camera angles, there's that one with, looks like he's cross-eyed, where he's flying into the camera. Weird shot, and again, bad marketing. Why would you choose one of the worst shots in the movie to say, here's the movie, get ready, and it looks like garbage. It doesn't look great. People are already having their doubts about this movie, and you're gonna put that out there. That's what I don't understand. That's what I mean by bad marketing. You're putting out the worst shots you can think of while not giving too much away, which I appreciate, but we're already concerned about the movie and you're gonna put out more stuff that's not great, and that makes us even more concerned. But then you put a sneak peek out, give us a little bit more, and throughout all of the indications of marketing, posts, pictures, trailers, whatever, it's all compiling and adding up to something that is making a little bit more sense, because we have more pieces of the puzzle. We can connect certain dots that make other things make sense. Like, even, for example, the image, the very first one we got for Superman, where he's putting on his boots and there's the thing outside. My thoughts on that, now anyway, because before I'm like, go outside and help, the city's being destroyed, what are you doing putting on your shoes? It makes sense, because from what we've heard, Max Lord is basically hired on Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, maybe Metamorpho. I think he comes in later and he's not really connected. But anyway, he's hired them on as like hired superheroes, basically. And so they have their own, way of doing things, and they have their own restrictions and things like that. Superman's the random Boy Scout that comes out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but he comes out to help, but they have their way of doing things that it conflicts with what Superman tries to do. And they probably butt heads in the movie. And that could be a conflict or a point of climax in the movie where Superman is just trying to help. He wants to help. He wants to help the world be a better place. He expects more out of people, and he just wants the good. He sees the good in people, as has been said by David Corenswet himself, James Gunn. This is a Superman who sees the good in people and wants to fight for that good with everything he can. And he's conflicted. He's like, how do I help these people who both don't want my help, and the way that I want to do things that I can see actually improving, their livelihood and the way of living, and they see that as a bad thing, or they hate me, they throw garbage at my head. Like, how do I help these kinds of people? And he wants to help, but he can't, because if he does, it may make things worse. So I don't know. That's all theory. That's all theory based off what I've heard, what I've seen, the images that we've gotten. That's all I have to go off of, which is good, because we shouldn't be given everything. We shouldn't be given too much in trailers. It should be just enough to get us interested, intrigued, get us curious, get us thinking what could happen until we see it, and it all makes sense. So yeah, that went on much longer than I wanted it to, but those are my thoughts on the sneak peek. Those are my thoughts on the Superman trailer in general, or Superman movie in general. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. All of this came out because I am excited for this movie. I'm excited for DC, I'm hopeful, and I really want this to do well, because I really want those characters, regardless of the characters that I mainly talk about. I love it all. I love all of it, and I want to see these characters done well and true to their name. We grew up with these characters. We want to see them thrive on the screen as we've seen them thrive in our lives on the comic book pages. We just want to see them do them justice. And so hopefully that is the case with this movie. So can't wait to see it. What are your thoughts on the sneak peek? What are your thoughts on Superman as a whole? Do you have your doubts? Are you hopeful? Are you excited for this movie? Let me know down in the comments below. And before you leave, again, remember to click the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for more notifications on whatever video I have coming up next. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time. And remember to stay amazing.